Money. What is it?
You smell that? What is that?
What?
What's that smell?
The cologne?
No.
Opportunity.
No. Money.
Okay.
I smell money.
Okay.
Money on a lot of different levels is kind of arbitrary.
Scott Fitzpatrick is a professor of anthropology at the University of Oregon. He says the money we value is often determined by randomness and geography.
A lot of currencies developed out of precious objects or precious metals and things like that.
Fitzpatrick has dedicated most of his academic life to studying giant stone money. This passion started for him in the mid-90s, when he went on a research expedition to Palau, an island nation in the Pacific. He wandered along the raised limestone islands and coral reef skeletons.
And as we trekked up into the jungle in this really jagged karst terrain, the thing I was immediately struck by was this large, flat piece of limestone that was circular in shape, and it had a hole through the middle of it.
Fitzpatrick noticed a path had been cleared, as though people had been preparing to shuttle this giant stone disc elsewhere.
The people who had done this were pretty good engineers. They were building other kinds of structures, stone walls and pathways and things like that to help them carve and move these very large discs.
He soon learned that centuries ago, stones like this were moved over 250 miles north of the island group of Yap. People on Yap didn't have limestone. These stones weighed more than a car, and the challenge of bringing them back and carving them only made them more valuable.
The chief would take those pieces of stone money and probably keep, some of those. They would then place the stone in front of a residence, let's say, and then that person would own it.
These stones are called rai, or stone money, but Fitzpatrick says it's not strictly a currency. The Yappies would trade it as a wedding gift, or to celebrate a birth. It could be traded without ever moving physically. People who lived on Yap had an oral tradition of learning and remembering who the stones belonged to at any given moment.
And that's very different than what you see in other types of societies. And that's the ability of people to have that memory.
If you took a look at your wallet, you probably wouldn't remember where your nickels came from. But Fitzpatrick says, as different colonial powers vied for control of this part of the Pacific, the use of stone money in Yap waned. These days, the US dollar is the official currency of Micronesia.
Today, you can walk through jungles and Yap and old traditional villages and that aren't used anymore today, and you can still find pieces of stone money laying around that they just don't have as much importance in everyday transactions as they once did, even maybe 100 years ago.
But stone money is still an important part of culture on Yap. You can still find an image of it on the license plates on the island. And Fitzpatrick says this old currency has a lot to teach us about a new kind of money, cryptocurrency. Bitcoin, like stone money, isn't moved physically. It has value even though
money on a lot of different levels is kind of arbitrary.
Sting is a pyramid since time immemorial. Runs downhill, money goes up. It's that simple.
For Philosophy Talk, I'm Holly J. McDeed.